What is going on, everyone? It is your shaman, your sister in spirit, and your friend, Alesha Dunlevy here. And there are 30 days until the This Is Me retreat that's held out in Portersville, PA. It is an empowerment and embodiment retreat. And Devin Ashmore and myself are going to be the facilitators for this retreat. And one thing that really wanted to come through in today's episode is talking about what does an embodied empowerment mean. Devin and I have talked about this on Instagram Live. If you do not know my handle, it is at aleshas.healing.heart. Devin's is Devin Animal. So Devin Animal. Okay. We went on a live. We talked about this. We've also talked about embodiment practices here on my, well, it depends on where you're watching from, but on my YouTube channel. And today I really felt like it would be so awesome to talk more about why Spirit really wanted to have this as an offering for the people in our community. So first things first, some people have actually said to me, I don't think that I could learn anything about empowerment or embodying my empowerment in a couple of days. Like, I don't want to go there with an expectation that big things are going to happen. And I loved that level of authenticity and rawness, right? Because for those that have seen my posts and have seen how I portray the opportunity to embody your most empowered self, the thing that I really want to help you understand is that I also don't expect you to completely learn every single tool that you can use, in a weekend, that you're going to come one way and leave a completely other way. However, what I do hope for is that you begin to think about empowerment, self-empowerment, and embodiment in a completely different way, right? Sometimes we think that empowerment comes when we completely dissolve our previous sense of self, when we dissolve ego, when we dissolve insecurities. That is not what we came here to experience. Empowerment is doing it not even in spite of. Empowerment is doing it alongside. Empowerment is embodiment alongside the parts of you that are scared, beside the parts of you that are self-critical, besides the part of you that feel less than, unworthy, unlovable. You have been here your entire life. You have trained yourself to be who you are. There have been conditions placed around you for you to be who you are today. And although there are times where maybe you are a little self-critical or judgmental or don't love yourself for those things, I can, and I do, right? Because the creator does. I channel that on behalf of you. There are absolutely some shadow aspects to self, right? There's definitely some things about ourselves that maybe we don't love. However, because in duality, there really exists unity, what you're going to discover at this retreat is some of the things that you don't like are actually some of the things that you absolutely love about yourself, that they go hand in hand, right? The other thing, in terms of personal development, right, going beyond that concept of like some of the things you don't like about yourself are actually some of the things that you love most about yourself, you're just in a stinking thinking state. You're just in a lack of self-love, a lack of self-empowerment state, right? Beyond that, you absolutely can learn how to then shift that perspective and stay in a high vibrational or a loving perception or a loving perspective way of being, right? Um, and I've used this example so many times, and I would love to shift this example a little bit. When we think about, for those of you that are on YouTube, you can see that I'm pointing to this picture of this lion. For those of you that are listening on Spotify, when you imagine a lion, right? they have this incredible, regal, royal, no nonsense about them, right? If you think about a lion, think about all the things, the positive traits about them, right? Now think, if you can, for a moment, also how some of these traits could also get into states of that might be a little excessive, right? Because every trait at the center has hyperactivity and also has hypoactivity. So as regal and as royal as a lion is, maybe sometimes they will do things just because they can, rather than being in balance. Maybe rather than just hunting for the pride, instead they'll hunt just to kill, because they know that they have that capacity to do that. Um, which for some people would consider that a shadow aspect. It's like, oh, they're just kind of untamed. They just kind of kill for fun. They're natural hunters. The identity of hunter. Maybe some of you identify as a hunter or a warrior, right? And in your high perspective and loving perspective, understanding of self, what you realize is that you're protective, you know? And in a negative state of self, it might be you're defensive. And knowing that you have the power to shift that, you know that you have the power through your perception, through your word, through your thoughts, to shift from being empowered and being disempowered. It's like, oh my gosh, you're so defensive all of the time. Well, that's because of my warrior nature, you know? And maybe I can tone it down a little bit in this situation. Maybe this situation specifically doesn't necessarily require me to be so defensive, but there are many times where this intensity is actually very helpful to not only myself, but to my community as well, because I don't tolerate BS and I don't allow other people to push people around. Yeah. So this to me is what empowerment is. It is not the elimination of all the things you don't like. It is the shift of the story. It is the shift of the perspective of who you perceive yourself to be, rather than who you could choose to see yourself as, rather than who you really are. And that doesn't mean that that won't come without some change in action, right? Like we had said, maybe this situation doesn't require me to be defensive. Maybe I don't have to be so defensive. Maybe I'm at a 10 and maybe I only need to be at a 7. That is a matter of discipline, self-awareness, and self-control, right? But we can't learn how to master our skills, our gifts, our natural state of beings. We cannot master who we are unless we accept who we are and be safe within ourselves to know what our intentions are, and to know that we can fine tune it, right? For me, like, I'm highly empathic, which comes in handy when I'm working with other people. It comes in handy when I'm around people and I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. I don't want to talk about it, right? Or I do want to talk about it, but I don't know what it is. My empathy helps me see the unseen, to feel the unfelt, to understand the misunderstood, right? Now, what's the difficult part about that? The difficult part of it, if I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm an empath and I know how to channel my gifts and I know how to use it, is that I could be an emotional wreck, just absorbing the energies around me. Now, if I chose to go down the path of I'm an emotional wreck and I just cry all the time and then I get angry and then it's, I can't, nobody will ever love me. Nobody will ever understand me, because I barely understand myself. I can take that path, pardon me. And then you can see how easily I can start making up chapters to that story. Maybe I'm bipolar. Maybe I have a personality disorder. Maybe I have And then those stories then can become identities. However, if I'm looking at myself and I say, you know what, I notice that maybe I am very sensitive to emotions and energy. Okay, so what does that mean for me? It means that in its goodness, I understand people. I know what's going on. I feel the vibe. I know when I should be somewhere and where I shouldn't be somewhere. I know how to nurture those around me through my empathy. Awesome. And what's the shadow aspect? Well, it's all the things that I said before. Okay. So how can you empower the disempowered state of self? How can you empower the negative perceptions of self? Well, I can learn a little self-discipline. I can learn how to ask myself questions in my empathy. When I feel overwhelmed, I can say, is this me or is this somebody else? Oh, okay. 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 Am I transmuting energy on behalf of someone else? Is there a spirit around me that wants to cross over? Is there, am I feeling a loved one? Am I feeling my sisters? Am I feeling my child? Am I feeling my friend? Am I feeling a client? That is a level of empowerment that comes through, right? And so this is the essence of what we are going to be working on together at that retreat specifically. It is an opportunity for you to get to see yourself in a whole new light and to just have some time to practice embodiment practices, like eating good food, like sitting in sisterhood, sitting in community, like going for a walk, being in nature, like allowing yourself to get into a state of rest, like telling people no and telling people yes, like, this is the essence of at least the coaching portion of this retreat. And then you have this whole opportunity with Devin to go through embodied movement, to be in front of a camera, to face things that might make you feel disempowered, might make you feel uncomfortable, and to then access empowerment inside of that. That is the essence. It's like an empowerment boot camp with the most loving, understanding, supportive people at this time. And there's no other place I'd rather be. There's no other gift that I would rather give. There's no other situation that I would want to put myself in and for the next level of my life. I know that there are going to be some things that I'm doing as a practitioner, as a mother, as a sister, as a friend that are going to make me uncomfortable. And how do I show up as my most empowered self inside of that discomfort? I isolate myself, right? I put myself in situations where I get to practice. And for an entire weekend, you get to be in a safe container, in a contained environment where you get to practice without judgment. And everybody around you is also practicing. It's like, I'm going to practice how to be empowered. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, yeah, I like this. Oh, I don't like this. Okay, I see what you're saying here. Oh, wow. If my most empowered self is Yoniverse, which I said on the thing, Yoniverse, Alesha still walks with me. Alesha doesn't just disappear. Sasha Fierce, right? Beyonce doesn't just disappear. Sasha Fierce leads the way as Beyonce, or holds Beyonce's hand. Yoniverse holds Alesha's hand as we walk through these moments together. And this is what I would love to invite into you. And I also love Devin's element, right? If you look at the retreat thing, mine says Yoniverse. Devin doesn't even give hers a name. She talks about how she uses certain parts of the tarot as an embodied practice. So the lovers, right? How do you do that? Well, you think of the Lovers card and you think of what their characteristics are. You think of their light aspects. You think of it in reverse. Have things to think of and consider. So there's going to be a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different stories, a lot of different opportunities for you to discover what that looks like for you. So for those that still want to come, there are 3 spots left. 4 if you want to share with a friend. Okay. Share a king size bed with a friend. Beyond that, for those of you that are like, man, I really wanted to go and, you know, I have something to do. The question for you is, what are the 3 most important traits that your most empowered self holds? That's the first question. That's part A. Part B is, what are the shadow aspects, or what are the negative, low vibrational terminology? What's the crap story? What's the stinking thinking story about these characteristics? Oh, she's confident, but some people think she's bossy and knows it all. Oh, she's this, and some people think this. Because then when people are like, I don't like that, you know, she's so bossy. Like, she's a brat. She's bossy. You can say, actually, I'm confident, but I can understand why you would think that, because I might be rubbing up against your ideas, your morals, or you might be afraid of being as confident as this because of that judgment. I'm not afraid of that because I know where I'm coming from, you know? But I totally get it because I've put in the work to find out. Does that make sense when I say that? So again, part A is list the top 3 most important traits to your most empowered self. And part B is list kind of how that kind of characteristic might behave out of balance, whether in hyperactivity or hypoactivity. So I hope that this chat might have inspired some of you to save your spot. You know, we have a month left, everyone. Like, let's go. So excited. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited just for friendship, to sit in sacred circle together, to laugh, to talk, and to be held. So excited for the good vegan soul food. You know, I'm not a vegan, you know, but I'm interested in trying something different, you know, veggies and that. So excited to have them catering our event. So excited to be at the Lodge at Water's Edge. If you have not seen the property, definitely look up the Lodge at Water's Edge at Portersville, PA. Beautiful. And then of course, you know, if you want to support me, please subscribe, like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, share it to somebody that you think, ooh, you should, you know, listen to this. This is interesting. Do you want to go? Or this is an interesting concept about empowerment. What do you think about this? Right? Also subscribing to my Spotify. Go ahead and, you know, share it with somebody that you know that might like it. And beyond that, thank you for just being here. Also engaging with my content helps, but thank you for just being here. There's nothing else that, nothing more I can ask for other than to have somebody sitting here with me as I live as a perfect channel for divine loving spirit to flow. So peace and love, everyone. I will catch you on the next episode.